So the blood pressure actually shot up. Okay, let's read another one. Another Lagos resident simply identified himself as Korode, who invested over 500,000 naira in the scheme. Said, "There's going to be a crisis in my home. I borrowed my wife 300,000 naira to invest in the scheme. I didn't tell her. But I guess she's suspicious now. I promised to return the money December ending, but couldn't. That was when MMM froze our account. It appears that there's going to be some delay before I can get the money. I just hope my wife will forgive me in case this thing fails. To be sincere, I am afraid." So this is someone who borrowed the wife 300,000 naira and then invested his money, and the thing froze. Now let's keep reading the stories and see if we could actually make some. If we ourselves will actually repeat this kind of mistakes. Okay, another story says, an undergraduate of the University of Benin City, Edo State, who identified himself as She-Boy because he did not want his parents to know he invested in his tuition and money meant for his dissertation in MMM. So this is someone who took the risk, and the school fees that was given to him to school in University of Benin, he actually invested that in MMM. Now this is the story. Said he has been left stranded since December 2016 when MMM was suspended and desperately needed his money back. I had thought that I would be able to get my money back immediately MMM reopened, but from that I have not heard if it is possible. He said, "My mother will kill me. I don't even know what to do," he said. Okay, that is a very pathetic one. So we've seen a trader, we've seen someone who borrowed his wife 300,000 naira, and then we've seen a student who invested in school fees. And then let's read another story. It said, a teacher in a private secondary school in Egbeda, Lagos, who spoke on condition of amity, said that the bursar of the school has invested 1.5 million naira according to the institution in the scheme before the scheme was suspended last month. According to the teacher, when the bursar could not provide the money, he was sacked by the school management and asked to sign an undertaking to return the money when MMM reopened. Now MMM MMM just went and shut down, and it was really a pathetic one, very pathetic. And I heard that MMM duped people up to the tune of $50 million. Okay, and then another one says a travel agent in Lagos who identified himself as Mr. Odunta. Now I will be reading all these stories. I will be reading other stories because this is what we're going to do in the first day, so that you will see the heart-wrenching stories of people, those who are good enough to actually tell people. And I know fully well that there are people who all through Nigeria, maybe they invested in this stuff silently, and then this stuff also crashed silently, and a lot of people know our way and all that. Okay, a travel agent in Lagos who identified himself as Mr. Odunta lamented that he was going through difficulty after investing 900,000 naira meant for paying his rent in MMM with the hope that he would get 1.2 million in return. Odunta said he was desperate to recover his funds as his landlord has been on his neck since. So this guy invested 900,000 naira and the landlord has been on his neck since, hoping to get 1.2 million for doing nothing. Let's read another story. Also, a banker in a new generation bank. Now you might be asking, this guy studied, maybe he studied banking and finance, or maybe he studied accounting, or those that could work in the bank. There are different stuff. They study things like economics and all that. You might be thinking this person should know more better. Okay, a banker a new generation bank in Lagos told one of our correspondents on the condition of anonymity, okay, he does not want that it to be revealed, that 3 of our colleagues were sacked for introducing customers to MMM. So I think MMM then in Nigeria, it was being, I heard it was even introduced in some churches, and then this is a banker now, or bankers now, 3 bankers now we're talking about, who are introducing customers to MMM, where they are supposed to be giving financial advice. According to the banker, his colleagues were sacked after the aggrieved customers officially complained to the bank manager that they were stranded because they invested money in MMM, which were introduced to them by some employees of the bank. That is why the best thing as an individual to do is never to give people financial advice. I always tell people a good teacher is the person who can actually bring people to the point where they can actually take decision for themselves. It's like if you're talking about marriage, the best you could do is to tell people the do and the don't, the why, the how, the where, and everything. Give them what is necessary to make a very good decision. Even because the Bible said that Adam was blaming God for actually when there was a problem, Adam was even blaming God that God, this is it, this is the woman you actually brought and all that. Let's go back to what we have before us. Okay, the source said that the customers said they needed their money back. They blamed some of my colleagues for introducing them to MMM, and the bank sacked them. One of the customers complained that the money he had put in MMM was meant to roof his house, and that his planned relocation to the house has to be delayed because of that. Another said that the money he had invested in MMM was meant to pay his debt, while another said that the money was meant for his wife's business. So you can see the scenario: one wanted to roof his house, one wanted to use the money to pay debt, so that is more debt. The house is delayed now. And then one says it's meant for the wife's business. So you see the kind of scale of when this con artists actually strike, you can see the scale at which, or the magnitude at which people get affected. Now I do believe, and it's a principle I operate with, that I am not living for myself. So you are not living for yourself. Whatever actions or reactions that comes to you, whatever actions you take or are taken on you, or whatever the reactions you take or are taken on you, always know that you get affected, and the people around you get affected, whether they are loved ones, whether they are maybe your wife, your husband, your family. Whatever action you take, you get affected. It's a very simple stuff. If you become the president of Nigeria today, your wife did not campaign, but automatically the status of the wife is upgraded. She becomes what? The first lady. And then there are some benefits that also comes with it, like okay, this, that, and that. They all in Nigeria and all that. Also, if something wrong happens, let's say you commit a crime and you are put behind the bars, they sent you to prison. Your wife gets affected also. Right? Yeah, the children also get affected. So you want to be very, very careful of your actions, that when you are doing things, you want to think things through. Let's read another story. Another banker working in a commercial bank in Akute, Ogun State, also said one of our colleagues was sacked for investing 2 million naira he had loaned from the bank in MMM and was unable to pay the loan. And it's a principle, like I said, I've had experiences, and then I've also done a lot of studies. I know that I've been in conversation with a lot of persons. I know that it is never a good idea. It's never a good idea to work with loans. Now there are people who teach how you can actually use debt for your advantage. But if you as a person you've not come to the point where you've been able to use your own money for something tangible, it's not advisable for you to bring someone's money or borrow someone's money and seek to use it. And that's why you see many people fail in businesses. They want the bank to borrow them, and that's why the bank don't even borrow people. Before the bank borrow you money, the bank wants you to show that come produce assets that you've been able to garner for yourself and all that. Let's continue reading the story. I think that is all we'll do today. Maybe we'll shed some light. A barbing salon operator in Ilorin, Kwara State, Adejara Lawa, who spoke with one of our correspondents on Thursday, said he had invested money belonging to some of his colleagues, which was from their contribution scheme in the investment. According to him, he invested around 350,000 naira in November, hoping to get a profit of at least 80,000 naira by the second week of December before their accounts were frozen. He said, "This is the biggest mistake I have taken in my life, and at the moment all I can think about is how to get the money back. I was the one coordinating the Barbers Association contribution in my area, and I invested it in MMM." And we will talk about this stuff when we're talking about custody and decision making. As you can see from this story, there was someone in a contribution scheme where there were different barbers that are actually contributing their quota. Maybe like, okay, we ration it. You have A, you have B, you have C, you have D. So if A, B, C, D contributes, the first time maybe they give the money to A, and then the next time maybe the next month they contribute, they give it to B. Then the next time, that's how they ration it, C, D, then it comes back to A and all that. So this is a person who is in custody of the funds now, and maybe he plays to be smart, like, okay, maybe the thing is every 3 months. Okay, I'm the one in custody of the funds. Let me just invest this money there, and by the time the money will be needed by this company or these people, I will be able to give them the money. And it turned out not to be good. Now, when we'll be studying this thing in depth, we'll be studying how you as a person should not actually invest with people who have custody of your funds. And even though you want to invest with such people, you want to understand that is one of the stuffs we'll be looking at. The issue of custody and decision making is a very, very big topic. Custody and decision making. Let's continue reading the story. In Oyo State, an estate agent, Mr. Fonshun Ogunbade, said he has invested a sum of 3.5 million naira, a part of which were from the rent he had collected from tenants on behalf of some landlords. If you look at some of the stories I've read, you discover that these people were taking that custody and decision making was a really, really big problem. Okay, of which you are taking collected from tenants on behalf of some landlords in MMM. My target was that by Sunday everything will be sorted out, but as it is now, I cannot get the money back. MMM is saying that it will start by paying the people with small funds, and that we also put a peg on how much we can get, he said. A student at Lako de Akintola University of Technology, simply identified as Wole, said he invested 50,000 naira into the scheme a week before it froze all accounts. Another MMM investor, who simply identified himself as Olanyika, said, "I am desperate to recover my money. All my investment has gone into it," he added. Olanyika, who lost his job over a year ago, said he has invested 700,000 naira that was paid to him as entitlement in MMM. Listen, 700,000 naira, you lost your job. This is money that was paid to you as entitlement, and you invested that money into a scheme. Given how profitable the scheme was before it collapsed, he said, I have been counting down since the day MMM announced the closure. Everything I had went into it, and I am seriously stranded. Another MMM investor, Miss Janet, surname Witet, said, I lied to my brother to lend me money to pursue my master's program. I have not been working for some time, and he was the one who advised me to go and do postgraduate degree. So when I asked for money, he gave me 150,000 naira. With the way it was booming, I invested my 600,000 naira in it, including the money I had saved from my previous workplace. So I'm in a feast as I'm talking to you now. And then at the end of the email, it was written that the best investment is knowledge. I advise you to invest in knowledge today and reap it tomorrow. And even as I read that, I want to look through my phone. I think I bookmarked the page, and also read another pathetic story that actually happened few days ago. Okay. Let me read it. Bitcoin company shock customers. Neverland. Let me get the precise. Okay. Why am I finding this thing hard? I can't really find it, but let me read it from my phone. I bookmarked it. A Bitcoin company in Calabar has disappeared into thin air with millions of naira of customers' money. As early as 8 a.m. yesterday, that was April 13th, customers besieged the company's office on Bassi Duke, only to discover that the company has closed shop and vanished with their money. Several phone calls were made by the customers, but no response from the company officials that started operation about 2 months ago, collecting money from customers and giving them a whopping 30% after 7 days trading, online trading. Now, here was what actually happened. So 30% for 7 days online trading. So if they trade for 30 days, if they trade 7 days, they give them 30%. So yesterday, over 1,000 people who were expecting their money broke into the office and carted away any item they could lay their hands on as little compensation for their investment. The entire premises of the company that occupied few rooms in the Basiduku shopping mall was taken over by frustrated customers. As one of them, who gave his name as Ifeanyi, said, "This is things fall apart." This is things fall apart. I put in over 2.5 million naira and now everything is gone. Another customer who cried previously, claiming he put in 5 million naira, said, "I saw people collecting 30% interest after 1 week. That is why I put in my money." A huge part of the money I put in was even borrowed. Some National Youth Service Corps members, NYC, also invested, and one of them said she put in 1.5 million naira and it was all her money in the world. Another couple who put in 15,000 naira said that money was all I saved in this my service year. This is painful. I thought I could do business and help myself and my poor family. It was gathered that the thousands of people invested in the scheme, as someone told the guidance, the crowd you are seeing today are just a few that could come to get their money. They made millions and disappeared with our money, and now that is why I don't know why we would never learn. MMM and the likes that promises quick profit have duped us in the past, yet we keep falling for them, including me. I put in 500,000 into this one and now see my money has gone down. The situation has caused an atmosphere of pandemonium, and some soldiers arrived in the afternoon, fired several shots to disperse the people, but they kept coming. And then somebody typed in the forum, said, "Nigerians will never learn." Someone wrote, "I beg, another news or onto the next news, sure." And then someone wrote, "This is what happens when you suspend common sense because of greed." And then there were some very funny pictures and all that. And then there are many, if you want to look at stuffs. Now, I think the news that actually came the news that was actually there about people absconding with people's money and all that. Now, I think a lot of people blame it on Bitcoin and they say, well, the federal government is warning people, CBN is warning people not to do Bitcoin and all that. And there is a question that has not been asked by people. The question is, even before Bitcoin, when was Bitcoin? These schemes has been existing for over hundreds of years, right? It has been existing. So it's like you are saying that the reason for murder is because of guns. No, it's not guns. Even before guns came in, people have been killing people, right? Even before knife came, people have been killing people. So you want to ask yourself if Bitcoin is actually the reason why people actually lost money, or there is another reason why they actually lost money. And I will give you some stories of some persons who, I'll give you some names who will be analyzing what they did in the past and all that. One of them is Bernard Madoff. So Bernard Madoff was one of the persons who ran a pyramid scheme that duped a lot of people in the US. And his scheme, when he ran the pyramid scheme, then there was no Bitcoin. So I wonder what people blame on Bitcoin. He ran the scheme in the US for 20 years and he made away with $65 million. Was that Bitcoin? No. And another name we'll be seeing in the course of 2 weeks, we'll be talking about Charles Ponzi, who an Italian who came to the US in the 90s and swindled money from people. Was Bitcoin existing then? No. So I wonder what people blame on Bitcoin. And then we'll be talking about the grandfathers, the fathers, and the children of Ponzi schemes. We'll be talking about guys like Darren Palmer. And then we'll be talking about different kinds of persons that have been involved in Ponzi. We'll be talking about Nicholas Cosmos. Nicholas Cosmo, and the people, the list continues. I know that. So you want to know if it's like someone is blaming to say to talk about Bitcoin is responsible is to talk about the reason, is to say the reason why someone is committing adultery is because there are women in the world. It's a very foolish assumption. I'm committing adultery because there are women in the world. So what should they do? They should take all the women from the world. No. And let's run through some overview of some stuffs. Now, how does Ponzi scheme work, and how do people lose money? Let's explain something before we maybe end the video here and continue tomorrow. Now, there is something called the issue of trust, and we already know that if someone knocks on your door, the first question you want to ask, if someone knocks on my door and say, the first thing you want to ask is, who is that? So the response you get, you know people by their voice, right? So if you already know me and I'm knocking on your door, the response you get, you want to correlate it to the voice and say, I'm Prosper. I say, I'm Prosper. You see that from my voice and say, okay, I trust him. Okay, you can go and open the door to him. Nowadays, there are many doors that have a kind of a little opening you can actually use to look at and see who is that person. If you don't know the person, you can say, okay, no, I'm not opening my door for you. I'll call the police and all that. Right? So, how does these schemes work? Since you as a person cannot be gotten, or nobody can get your attention except they know you, there is this thing called the word of mouth. So how does that happen? Most of the things that we use in life, or the businesses we run, or whatsoever we do, it is one person or the other that introduce them to us. Brother, do you know about this bank? Yeah, we've given very good rates. Yeah. And then maybe you heard again that maybe you went to someone's house and you saw the person eating one kind of food. You're like, what kind of food is this? So is this kind of food? Let me test it. Maybe you as a person, you might be very skeptical. Maybe you don't like the way it smells. So the person convinces you and say, eat. It's a great food, and you eat it. I like this food. And then you start eating the food, and it becomes part of you, the word of mouth. So we have that in business. Even we have that in the relationship we form. So maybe you know of someone, and then someone knows of someone, and then even on Facebook. If I open my Facebook now, and then you talk about friends, you see one person that know one person, and then talk about mutual friends and the rest of them. You add one person, and the list continues and all that. That is the word we live in. Just word of mouth. So how does this kind of system work? Where there are people who make claims like, Uh, I know things from the onset. If you actually look and study things well, you discover that is what we call a confirmation bias. What I mean by that is you are using an outcome of an event to actually judge the previous event. What that means is, supposing A is to happen, and then you did not know that A was to happen, and then A actually happened. There are people who are going to lay claim and say, "Yeah, I knew it. A was bound to happen. It was bound to happen," and all that. So how does these Ponzi schemes work? Well, like I told you, you can. There are many parameters to actually use to look at it, but I believe you cannot really know from the onset how this Ponzi scheme work, except using certain parameters, and those parameters, they take time and all that. And someone said something that I think the best protection is abstinence. Yeah, the best protection is abstinence. It tells people that the best protection against HIV/AIDS is you have to abstain from sex and all that if you're not married, for your married couples. But though there are people who try to be very, very smart, and it could be disastrous and all that. And then let me give you a very sad story. A former president of the United States, Ulysses Grant. Let me type his name again. Ulysses. What happened? Ulysses Grant. So this was a former president of the United States, and one of the saddest things that actually happened was that this president, he was a victim of one of these schemes. So that tells you that there is no one who is immune to this plague. But though you could get immune if you actually acquire knowledge, and so that you don't get scammed. And I think life is very easy. Just that when I look through life, when I look through business, and I look through marriage and all that, these things are very simple. Just that will make them complicated. How do you smell a rat when it comes to financial fraud? It's not different from how you actually smell a rat when it comes to marriage. And there are people who have. I was doing a research one time on marriage, and I was actually reading a book, and I was doing a lot of research on the book. I think I should have the book. I think this should be the book. Let's see. Maybe I wrote some. Okay, maybe I need to be reviewing on that. It's not the book. It's in PDF. I'll try. That is another. That is for another day. I know that. So, when it comes to marriage, relationship, and all that, it's no different from business. It's no different from investment. do you smell the rat? You might not do investments, but you might be dealing in business with people. Very, very simple. This is not you are investing in a platform. No, you are doing business with people. Or maybe you are trying to get the service of someone. There are different factors. Marriage and all that. How do you actually smell a rat? We'll be going through all these stuffs. Now, I want you to know that there are many, these are the things we'll be looking at. And we'll be explaining each of them. The issue of custody with decision making. The ROIs when they are too good to be true. When the method of achieving this ROI are not really understandable. Communication service or communication channels, how they work. Education before selling. Are they educating before selling? The kind of claims. Are the claims, can they be attested to? And then the third parties, the issue of third parties, and then the patterns. Now, at the end of the course, at the end of the when I was reading a book on this subject, the author made mention of something, and it was really, really worthwhile. The author said something. He said, if he can prevent someone, just one person, from becoming the next victim, then the time he spent to write the book was actually worth it. This is a billionaire. He's not someone who is writing books because he wants to write books. I think that there's a perception in our world today where people think people do things because they want something in return. That is not actually most times. There are people who do things not because they want something in return. They do things because they feel that someone, not because they feel that someone needs this service. So at the end of the course, there are people. We've done blockchain and cryptocurrency course for 30 weeks, 23 days, and at the end of the day, there are people who they will clap for it and they say, "Wow, it's a very good course. I know that." And there are some people who have reached out to me and they're like, "How I saw the video. Okay, how do I invest?" And everything they tell me, "Oh, money, money, money," and that. I said, "Okay, let's walk through the course. Let's use 3 weeks. The videos are there. Watch the videos. I'll be there to answer questions, and you never hear from them." Well, history is bound to repeat itself. So at the end of the course, at the end of this 2 weeks of how to smell a rat, you as a person, you'll be able to learn how to smell a rat when it comes to. I don't like talking about marriage. Maybe you can apply it for marriage, but I'll not be using that. And then how you can actually smell a rat when it comes to business operations. We're not talking about we're not talking about investing now. And then how to smell it right when it comes to investing. So maybe at the end of the 2 weeks, you could be a financial investigative journalist, or maybe you could be a financial FBI and all that. And then at the end of the course, I believe something. There are going to be two persons, because even at the end of life, there will be two places. There will be hell and then there will be heaven, depending on the choice people make. So at the end of the course, there will be people who will take it to heart and will avoid being scammed. And then there are others who will fall victims. Well, much cannot be said, but we do learn from very hard lessons. Do have a very good day.